Hey there team, and welcome to the Cardolan Outpost. Now this is a 3v2, so not an absolutely massive siege here, but you can definitely get some good defensive positions done here just by two people, I'd say. Definitely doesn't need to be a 3v5 or a 3v4. I've mentioned before a few times on the Scouts debrief that I've never actually managed to play through a full battle from start to finish on the Cardolan Outpost, so it's quite it's always good when I do get sent one, because I can live vicariously through someone for a little while. We've got Skinjet here, who he's sent in this replay from Rhudaur's perspective. He's got his Witch Realm Enslavers there, that's where he's put his general, quite nice, so his general will get his AP. Dunman Hunters there, I mentioned before that I never really take them myself. A catapult, Rhudaur's catapults, of course, crewed by these goblin forces. Let's slow it on down, actually. I think we've got a lot of shuffling, but I just want to get this army done while it's still in this nice formation. Rhudaur marksmen there, two of them. That's more up to my quality that I require. The Reforged javelins, some Arthedain pikes, 2 units off them, actually, which I think is a pretty solid choice for a siege. Wouldn't really do it in a field, though. The Black Wolves, because you are going to the red limit, of course. Then some Rhudaur swordsmen, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Some clansmen there, 4 of the clansmen there, actually all with armor upgrades, so nice and beefy as Rhudaur can really get, anyway. He's got Vivorax as his first ally with the Dwarves of Erebor. We've got these Ironfoot axe throwers, 2 of them. Up at the front, some halberdiers, and then some spears behind them. A legionnaire force on the right flank. And then a nice long line of these Ironfoot warriors. Behind them, some Axeguard of Erebor, and in the far back, the Dragon Slayers of Ered Mithrin. So that's pretty cool. Any more units from him? No. So he's got pretty numbers heavy with all those Ironfoots. So that'll be pretty good. It's nice to see Erebor take higher numbers, because he can do that. Dorwinian over here, played by CCO Duca 07, so I just generally see Duca when he's in these games. We've got the Elvelyn marksmen up front, backed up by the Merquindi bows, definitely the most powerful ranged faction. Well, I guess crossbows from Erebor can be pretty brutal. The Merquindi Glade Masters here, no general in the Glade Masters today, so you must have him in the Hammer Guard. Let's have a look over here, Elvelyn infantry line. Nice and sturdy. Merquindi pikes, double Merquindi pikes, and the Elvelyn Vine Guard. And then up the front here, the Hammer Guard, the Elvelyn Hammer Guard with the general in the unit. I like to put him in that unit just because he's a human general. I like to put him with a human unit. Always think he feels a bit out of place, but I guess that's the whole concept of Dorwinian, this two peoples culture that they have going on. Over here, the enemies are Arthedain, played by Glad. Yeah, Glad. W. His Arthedain marksmen there are lacking any armor upgrades, which is quite interesting for a defender who has a bit more money to spend. So how has he spent that money? He's not even got some armor upgrades for his Arthedain pikemen here. Just behind them, some men-at-arms. Again, no armor upgrades. So it really is looking like maybe he's going a numbers focus rather than dishing out the upgrades. More Arthedain men-at-arms in the back here. Jeepers, huge amounts of these guys today. And then a catapult up on the platform there. His ally is over here, Mirkwood, so that's pretty good. Got some, well, definitely a good defensive faction there. Elven King's Palace Guard, this is played by Your Pappy. So we've got the Elven King's Palace Guard, as I say, no armor upgrade for them today. Then the Hiri Lang, double Hiri Lang, Hiri Peng, double Hiri Peng. Wardens of Amon Lank, solid choice. Elders of the Elven King, that's where he's got his general, that's where I like to put him. Hirioth there, double Hirioth, Elder Council, and the Greenwood Rangers. So we've no doubt probably got the Dunedain Rangers as well from Arthedain, but still kind of surprised by that formation there. Okay, yes, good. Wardens of the North, and then Pikemen there, no armor upgrade, but Dismounted Forest Errant Knights, Dismounted Forest Errant Knights. Some DeForest Errant Defenders, triple, and the Dismounted Knights of Innuminus. Okay, good. So that's where a bit more of the money's going, but still, it's pretty heavy numbers for a defender, and that might throw the attackers off their game because there's no horde attacker. Well, I guess Rhudaur can be a horde, but Skinjet's kind of gone pretty deep into his upgrades, and he hasn't really gone for a huge amount of the Dunman spears or even the Dunman pikes that you really get a lot of numbers down, but I guess the Rhudaur swordsman can fill up that role quite comfortably. As I say, I never really like to put a bet down too early. Glad doesn't have a defensive shield line in front of his Arthedain pikes here, so that really could lead to them getting peppered to pieces by some crossbows, or preferably you'd want to really, if I got an option, I would hammer them with my crossbows. Now there might be a grace period here. There often is on Cardolan Outpost, so we'll probably not be seeing, Dorwinians not charging across these bridges right now, so I suspect we've got to wait a little while. So let's just position ourselves over here for the time being. We got some news about the hotfix in that last Scouts debrief that I did on, well, it was yesterday, but it'll probably be 2 days ago when this video goes up. So there's some news regarding the hotfix. So that's sort of available if you're able to go through the right channels and grab it. I'm not going to be getting my hands on one anytime soon. I don't think. I think I'll hold off on that. But so far, all the changes that I'm hearing about, I very much do like, and I think it'll be quite exciting to see how that's going. Yeah, of course. So it's good that we do have a bit of a grace period, because Skinjet will be he'll need to be a bit worried about a nice catapult shot slamming into this really blocky formation here. But I'm sure he'll shuffle around before the battle really kicks off. Just moving things over bit by bit. These Dunman hunters are of course just going to be there to take arrow fire. I do at times take them for that if I do have a bit of money left over, but there's always sort of something else I would really prefer to get. There may be a grace period, but Vivarax is moving forward his spears right now, just to take a bit of ground, and now we do have fire exchanging, so I'll go back to 1 speed and we'll get into it properly. Now, that was incredibly unlucky from Glad. That's, yep, that's exactly the target I would have gone for. It was a smart target, but every shot missed. Now he's got a spread. This is something Scout actually mentioned, even though he's got these units spread out, because there were so many units close together, they have merged. So you see over here, of course they're more spread out than a basic unit is, but they are actually quite close together. So he's still going to get some okay casualties in. Oh, I'm actually still 2 times speed, sorry about that. Ironfoot crossbows, more important units, but still. The issue with having your catapult there is it can get shot at by the enemy archers quite easily, and also, of course, by the enemy catapult, which is being targeted by now. Striking down. Now, the attackers, I always feel the defenders are going to be relying a lot more on their artillery than the defenders than the attackers will. So if even if the attacker's catapult uses up all of its ammunition just to take out Glad's catapult here, I'm sure they won't be too upset about that. But currently all they've been getting are misses, and every miss is of course just a wasted shot. That certainly wasn't a wasted shot right into the Ironfoot warriors. Be very glad to see that. Arthedain is going to be struggling up against these Ironfoot warriors, who they may not be the best of the best in terms of the dwarves, but they've got pretty damn nice armor. And Arthedain, of course, really struggling on the armor piercing front. What do we have rushing across here right now? Some Merquindi stalkers actually charged across, and they're getting a good shot on the wardens of Amon Lank here. I'm sure that Duca would really be wishing he had the Lancer unit at his disposal right now to come in for a slam. But hey, if you can shoot them down, then that's pretty good. These wardens are very, very useful. Merquindi bows charging on. They've taken some severe casualties on this bridge. This is some good use of the Greenwood Rangers, but using them so early in the battle is definitely going to give them, well, they're using one of their most important tools right now. Now, I'm sure they've got a Dunedain Rangers hidden away somewhere, but yeah. Has definitely dealt some casualties, though, so I'm sure they won't be too upset either way. I don't expect we'll get a clash just yet, but still, these Arthedain pikes are sort of exposed out here. So all it's going to take is one of these ranged units charging forward. Even the Dunman Hunters, in all honesty, as much as I've sort of been down talking them, if the Dunman Hunters can get, you know, nice and close and unload volley after volley into the front of the Arthedain pikes, they'll pay for themselves. The Dunedain Rangers here are opening fire. Are they counter-firing the Dunman Hunters right now? Because I hope not. Yeah, you'll be mincing them, but this is exactly what Skinjet wants. He'll be chuffed to bits with this situation. Yep. No, as I say, if I was receiving this sort of fire, I maybe wouldn't even spread out. I would just sacrifice this entire unit if they were willing to use these Dunedain Rangers on me. It seems the halberds, now the halberds are a much better choice. The halberds are what I would be firing into, as are the Arthedain marksmen. So yeah, Vivarax is having his poor halberds here cut to pieces right now. But we have the men-at-arms standing in amongst the Arthedain marksmen, which is going to be causing a few of them to be firing straight up. It's not actually too bad. You're seeing one or two of them firing straight up, but that's really a lot better than I thought it would be. Wardens of Amon Lank falling back after taking a fair bit of damage. They've only got 5 shots at the end of the day. They are armor-piercing archers. The Greenwood Rangers there. Yeah, they've not really taken too many casualties. They've already used up quite a bit of their ammo, though, to be honest. So I'm sure your pappy would not be tremendously upset to be losing a lot of that unit now. Merquindi Stalkers, they're getting a good shot right through that. You know, I really, it's something I find really satisfying for some reason. Using Rangers against mounted archers is just something cool. Yeah. So I do try and do that whenever they line up nicely. This is quite a good archer duel here. The men of the Elvillain marksmen are probably some of the only humans that can actually sort of go toe-to-toe with the elves in a ranged engagement, of course being trained by them and fighting alongside them. Dunman Hunters here, taking a fair bit of casualties, but as I say, Skinjet won't be upset about that. And he's getting some good shots right in the front of the Arthedain pike line. I think with the excess, well, with just how many Arthedain men-at-arms they have, Glad really could do with just lining up some of his men-at-arms in front of this Arthedain pike line, just so that their shields can come into play, and they can resist this. But it looks like Vivarax is going to be lurching forward to engage properly now. But Glad just has so much manpower ready to go to just fill in those gaps. Clansmen rushing on forward now. These clansmen, to be honest, it's, with as many, I keep talking about the numbers that Glad has dotted around. Ah, good, he's coming forward to block his way now. I keep talking about the numbers that Glad has, but you know, you can bust on through this with those Rhudaur clansmen, to be honest. Again, more firepower coming into these poor halberds. They've really taken a beating there. These men-at-arms were blocking them, but now the men-at-arms actually seem to be falling back behind the pikes. Hurrioth standing their ground over here. As I said before, your pappy's used up a lot of this ammunition, so maybe he's just happy enough at this point. You know, if they've only got a few volleys left, just leave them out there and just have them use up the enemy's arrows, so that they can't be using them on the pike units or anything else later on. Okay, Rhudaur clansmen leading the way, which is pretty good. You know, you get your lower quality troops stuck in there. But the Rhudaur clansmen not being in shield wall is going to have a lot of trouble against this. They have slammed forward quite a bit, and they are engaging nicely. But as I say, this is really something you're maybe wanting to bust on through. Unless, well, you're either wanting to bust on through it or just shoot at it. The Ironfoot spears as well, they could be using shield wall right now and breaking through this position. But they're having success on the front line in some places, especially sort of here in the centre. So perhaps the attackers are just willing to make this into a standard engagement, not really just bust on through. They prefer to just fight man to man. Ironfoot spears sort of did a run in. That wasn't really a push through. I think that was just trying to close the distance. But that's going to require Glad to back this position up a bit now. What's just scaring me about this situation is that there's no real units of quality in melee around here. So if I was an attacker, I'd be really tempted to come forward with something quite exceptional. Saying that though, Erebor is kind of lacking in that. They've gone for the numbers approach today, which really Erebor can take so many elite units, and they've just not done that. More men-at-arms coming forward just to add mass to this, and also this is a men-at-arm versus spearman struggle right now, and the Arthedain men-at-arms may not be fantastic, but they've got some decent armour and their swords at the end of the day, and swords will usually beat spears. Let's just see how that looks right now. Yeah, there is quite a bulge progressing here, but that's where the bulk of this... yeah, no. It's getting quite thin over that area, but no pressure on the far right, though. Kirioth, they can come forward to deal with something a bit better, to be honest, if they had to. But this is really going to leave the attackers with so much ammunition ready to go for the later stages. I really expected this to be a bit more of a skirmish in the early part of this fight. It has been over here, but you would really... Dorwinion has to do that. Dorwinion's not got the ability to come forward like Rhudaur and especially Erebor have. They've got to just engage little by little and use their archers well. Okay, we're pressuring this really thin right side now. And they're just going to be able to walk on through. This isn't them in shield wall, this is them just as standard, just strutting on by. And I think Glad is pulling these men out, which is... It's a tough thing to do, just pulling men out of a fight. And I think they're actually sacrificing this position. This is a full-on rout now. These men here, are they charging forward? I don't know. I guess there's only marksmen in their way. Merquindi bows are not fun to fight, but yeah, okay, cool. I was originally thinking this was a really bad idea, but no, he could probably rack up a few kills if he made contact over there. But I suspect he'll rout before that. So these deserted men, I was not too confident about this initial assault, to be honest. I thought it was all spears, and they weren't really making use of their shield wall, and I thought that was going to be curtains, but no, they managed to just overwhelm this. It was just these unarmoured men-at-arms and pikemen defending the front line. So no, they've gained some good ground, and they'll push them right on back. These poor guys taking a real beating here as they're walking right now. If you wanted to come forward for a charge, well, now that the Glade Masters are there, this is good. I love to see people sort of using their elite units early on. Those Glade Masters are going to just about make contact, and that's going to break this unit, I suspect. I'd probably hold fire just to avoid friendly fire at this point, but yeah, they're just going to slice on through, and that's going to be it. Oh, they're steady. Shaking now. They've already lasted longer than I expected them to be honest. But with a good sort of side shot with those poison arrows damaging their morale, that should be it over. No, still wavering. Glade Masters have actually taken a fair bit of damage there from that. Far more than I expected. Yeah, you're seeing a corpse there from them. But that is that. So we are going to be falling back for 12 for 13. So this is going to be a big engagement in the back city here. This is not... Usually what you see is at least 50% of both armies are lost on that bridge or on those bridges, and then it really is the scraps defending the final city here, or the final outpost. But this is going to be big, which is going to make it very tough for the attackers. But you've got to keep in mind as well, the attackers have all of their ammo, and the defenders are squished up into these tiny choke points, which is just going to mean that these crossbows of the Ironfoot crossbows can just line up right there and just slam shots down this line. Forest Era Knights, sorry I didn't catch them. I did think that Arthedain might have some knights. This is a good time to use them. He shouldn't be running back into the city with them. He needs to try and keep them outside, and because Skinjet or one of the attackers here is going to make a mistake, and he needs to be able to punish that. The Arthedain pikes, to be honest, the Arthedain pikes are better than the Arthedain pikes. So, and I didn't spot any Innuminous Gate Guards. So when we're looking at a pike v pike fight, this could be in their favor. Especially considering there are no pikemen for Mirkwood. So it's quite an unusual situation for the Arthedain pikes to be the best pikemen on the map. But I think that's just what we have today. So we have lost a catapult here, but in all honesty, I'd be pretty happy with that. Having just 2 artillery pieces means that you can fit them around into better positions. You can just be much more mobile with them, and I'm sure Glad won't be too upset about that. I'm sure Glad will be pretty glad. So Forest Air and Defenders here holding the front line, nicely armoured, and dang good shield, but concentrated crossbow fire is gonna wipe them out all the same. They're really gonna need these Arthedain marksmen, but mainly the Mirkwood ranged units to really pick away at the enemy ranged forces. We've got the general in with the Wardens of the North, which again, that's where I like to put him. I just always enjoy having a ranged general. Over here, not massive casualties, for the initial attack, and the Rhudaur swordsmen are all fully healthed up. They have their full numbers. It has just been the Rhudaur clansmen that have taken this beating. There's still some mopping up to be done, as we are still hearing combat, but we're not really seeing any. I do keep seeing a little red blob just there on the land bridge, but I'm not sure what that's representing. No. Now, of course, Skinjet's catapult has been used to counter the enemy catapult a little bit, and they've managed to bring one of the pieces down, but it's still going to be a pretty devastating if it does manage to get into position. I'm sure it's not used up too much ammo. Yeah, you see, if you had the Forest Air Knights out here, these are such a tempting target. Just these Rhudaur swordsmen. Or if we look all the way over here, Mirkwindi Pike's definitely not a tempting target. But if you can run on by, get the Avellan Infantry, fantastic. I'm just unsure why he's being so... I guess he's wanting to wait for his opportunity. But right now, the thing I just feel about it is right now you've got your full micro capabilities with that cavalry unit. You're not worried about an attack for the next, well, at least sort of 5 minutes. So I would be so tempted to just use that cavalry and just give it my full focus. And because really, if you can fully micro one unit of cav, you can do some devastating stuff with it. So Dunman Hunters here are actually firing up. They've actually sacrificed this upper level. I guess the Hiri Peng just don't want to be using their ammunition on this, and I don't really blame them for it. It's a fight that they could easily win, but they just don't want to really spend arrows doing that. What's over? Oh, that's some routing men. Yes, as I say, I just keep getting focused on those red arrows for routing forces. Forest Air Knights, I quite like them. It's they're good at what they do. They're not exceptional, but nicely armored. So that's all you can really ask for from a lancer. But no, just a lot of shuffling around. What we've got for the Cardolan outpost here is, you've got the 1, 2, I believe another 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 attacking positions. Let me just count that again, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, good. So it would be good if the attackers can try to pressure all of the choke points, and they definitely have the numbers to do that. And the defenders arguably have the numbers to defend every choke point. But right now, Glad is focusing entirely on this area here. Now, of course, if the attackers decided to move around, I'm sure that the defenders would move to meet them. But that's just not happening right now. So let's position ourselves up here. Let's try and watch the mini-map for any cavalry movement. But yeah, as for why I've not really ever been able to get Cardolan outposts sort of played all the way through, I don't know why. It's just it's always been quite unlucky for me. My internet's a heck of a lot more stable than it used to be, but I have had one crash, well, one lag out on on the Cardolan outpost, which was very upsetting. Luckily, it was quite early on. But then I've had a few other, sort of somebody crashing, of course, and unfortunately we've even had one rage quit, which is not too common in the Reforged community, which I'm really happy to say. It's quite rare for someone to have a rage quit. The Merquindi Stalkers are definitely the main target of that Dunedain Ranger fire. They've absorbed a lot of Ranger fire, to be honest, from the Greenwood and the Dunedain now. But it was just a happy coincidence that those Dunman Hunters were taking a bit of fire too. Probably a bit from the Arthedain Marksmen. So that's them lowered down to 22 men in that unit now. And hopefully, for the defenders, that's them gone. Because if they can come back, then, yeah. The 7-man unit there, they've used up a lot of their ammo, but 7 men can, it'll take them quite a while to even just get through a little bit of the ammunition. And I would say that they're definitely a worthwhile target. Not really for the Troll Slayers, though. But most certainly for the... I think Glad wants to try and use the Troll Slayers on them. No, I think they're just appearing because the enemy's close enough. I don't think that they're going to be attempting to fire. Yeah, Merquindi Stalkers are running now too. But I'd be more sure that they're going to come back rather than the Dunman Hunters. Ah, we have some catapult fire. Still, not ignited, this catapult though. But I think he's maybe trying to strike down the enemy catapult. If he's trying to strike down the enemy catapult, then that makes sense, but this is not an easy shot to make. Generally, oh yeah, okay, let's see. Yeah, oh, landed kind of close, actually. Brought down, of course, I unfortunately brought down that tower. Quite cool to see that, actually. Yeah. Alright, any other damage to the building? No, nothing yet. That was a close shot, actually. But this building is just providing them some great help right now. And I think Glad will be pretty happy about that too. Again, that's just more ammunition from the attacker's catapult being used on well, just his own catapult. Not really being too... Oh! Just as I was about to say, not being too effective. Now, okay, so it is now lowered down to 1 catapult now. And that's, of course, the perfect scenario. So that... Oh, there's some hidden units there. Or is that rotting meat? Surely it can't use rotting meat. We'll see in a minute. No, it can't. Yeah, so that 1 catapult is really the way that I would love to use it, because you are able to be so sneaky with it. You can squeeze it into just tiny little gaps, but of course you run a massive risk. Now it's only one stray round is going to be taking that out. Or 1 stray rock, really, not really a round. But saying that, as I say, the defenders really have sort of just been the attackers really have just been cancelling out a catapult for their own right now, because they have been using up a lot of their ammunition at this point. We can see he's hidden that in quite nicely. What we got going on here? Some more running around. But that cavalry's moved. Or has the cavalry hidden itself? No, we're not seeing many... We're not seeing any horse corpses. So it's probably just hidden itself. Okay, cool. We'll keep an eye out for it. Very sorry if I missed that, but I was just quite intrigued by the artillery counter-battery fire going on. Looks like the dwarves are kind of splitting their forces here. This is generally what I think is quite a good thing to do when you have dwarves on your team, is just basically separate the dwarves out a bit. I think dwarves are amazing when they can spearhead, but there's a lot of weaponry that can really blunt a dwarven charge, and if the defenders are allowed to concentrate those anti-dwarf weapons in one place, then they can do that very, very well. We're seeing some shield wall going on here from these Rhudaur clansmen now, so I definitely approve of that. Well, the Dunedain Rangers might tear them apart in that formation, but we'll see how it goes. Then after that, but yeah, so I think it's a good idea to split the dwarves up a bit, just so that the defenders can't really concentrate all of their armor-piercing weaponry in one place. These poor Ironfoot spears are taking a beating from the Hiri Peng. Yeah, cool. I'd say that that's a decent idea. Very high damage arrows from those elven archers. But I'd say the heavy armor and decent shield from those Ironfoots will allow them to shrug that off quite nicely. I don't know if I'd... don't know. I guess he's got a lot of ammunition from those Hiri Peng. But I think I'd probably just be holding my fire for something else still. Ironfoot axe throwers there. Nice thing about them is as soon as they... well, as they've used up their ammo, they are the same as an Ironfoot warrior. They're very good in melee. For being a skirmisher unit. And I would say those axes are going to be great up against everybody that they're facing today. You know, you'd really want axes when you're going up against Mirkwood rather than the javelins. I guess there's some. Mirkwood's got some half-decent armor on a few of their units, but generally they're a very poorly armored faction for being as expensive as they are. Armor upgrades can be dished out left and right amongst their forces, though, but we've not seen that today. So right now it looks like we're generally going to be getting a 2 choke point push rather than the full surround of the outpost. Maybe we'll see once the fighting begins, there might be a quick sneaky charge around one side or the other. But I think at this time it looks like we're really getting 2 choke points coming in. Sometimes people do make that as a rule, but I don't know if that's what's going on here. So these men, as heavily armoured as they may look, their armour value is really not very good. Even, as I say, even with that armour upgrade, they're still, they're very soft. It's their shield. That nice sturdy shield is what keeps them safe. But I still, when they turn around and expose themselves there, I can see them taking a lot of ranger fire and just getting torn to pieces. Ironfoot halberds here standing by. Only 5 of them though, so they will aid a push with their extra range. Slightly longer weapons. I say again, Glad has got his pikes out in front of his spearmen here, which it just exposes them to ranged fire. The Eldar Council are one of those perfect dwarf killing weapons I was talking about. What's going on here? Oh, sorry, no, I saw a lot of red popping up, so it made me think that we do. Okay, very nice. Your pappy has a surprise in store for the attackers here. A very big surprise, as 2 units of huntsmen have appeared, alongside 2 units of the Woodland Realm Patrol. The Woodland Realm Patrol got a good few volleys off on these Merquendi pikes, and that's gone very well indeed. Ironfoot spears there, though, stopping them. There's even more. These Woodland Realm axemen engaging the Vine Guard. I'm actually surprised that they're having so much difficulty there up against the Elven Infantry, and with the spears coming around to close it, the huntsmen really need to... oh, good slam there. As I say, if we've got those Forestera Knights that can run on in to assist, then this could be curtains for this attack over here. Woodland Realm Patrol getting caught by the pikes, but they're going to be taking a lot of fire from the free unit. It's quite clever from your pappy. He is just sort of come in here and sacrificing a unit just to hold the enemy in place. Just charge after charge. The Ironfoot spears are some good quality fighters there, so you can't really get away with doing that as well, but it's still worth it. Coming in with the Ironfoot warriors there, this is some good cavalry play. Just sort of getting them to focus on one and then slamming them with the other. Yeah, that's some good casualties they're inflicting with that charge. So this will be pretty damn stressful for the attackers, those Merquendi bows running off. These Avilan marksmen are all by themselves out here. Vineguard could be running up to assist them, but still, you could get a quick charge on them. The pikes sort of managed to reform, and they're around sort of both sides of this poor patrolman force, and they will be doing some good damage. I'm surprised he's actually firing off like that. I'd finish off these pikemen, because they're very important, unshielded. But I guess, oh, it's the hammer guard. Oh, okay, no, it's not the hammer guard. I disagree with that. I would definitely sort of deal with what's in front of me. I guess the huntsman can sort of slam into the hammer guard, but yeah, as I say, the pikes would be my focus. But yeah, Duke is definitely, like, this is what I hate. I would be panicked. I would be very frustrated right now. I despise getting ambushed and having these cavalry forces sort of fluttering around me. You know, as I say, I love to attack because I love the feeling of like safety and the feeling of calm as I'm waiting to make my attack. And when you have things like this occurring, it's terrible. As bad as it is, it's 23 for 24 still. So it's not the end of the world. As good as some of these charges have been, you know, this is an expensive force here. Woodland Realm Axemen there, they were really just not as effective as I thought they'd be, which is quite unfortunate. As well as they were used, I feel they were a bit of a letdown. Woodland Realm Patrol really coming toward their end now. 92 of them, oh, they're all the way over here, okay. The Vine Guard coming over to sort them out. Huntsman. I think the Hammer Guard taking that sort of beating is great though. It'd be fantastic if they could just get a quick charge, take out that general. Dorwinian may be on par with a lot of the Western Kingdoms of Men when it comes to their sort of morale of the decent quality units, but losing a general is not fun for anybody. Any movement over here? As I say, it's Vivorax is going to be entirely focused over on that side. Looks like there was a quick bit of fire that came into those Rhudaur clansmen. That's sort of what happens when you're in sort of shield wall. That nice and tightly packed formation is just so tempting for a quick ranger volley, but that's kind of their purpose. You know, he'd much rather they take a bit of a beating rather than some of his more important units coming in later. So this ambush force is coming toward its end. The huntsmen trying to keep these Woodland Realm Patrol alive, but if I was those huntsmen, to be honest, I would be more focused on doing damage rather than preserving the lives of my men. I wouldn't really be coming in for charges against the Vine Guard. These Merquendi, you know, that's a unit of Merquendi pikes almost totally destroyed, and another one very badly beaten. A lot of micro going on here. Very sort of tricky to do this. But I think your Pappy's done quite well. But no, there's a lot of charging that I would be really tempted to do. Like, I'd love to just come in for a quick slam there. And there's these Avellan infantrymen. I think he's going to do just that. If he can try and do a quick sandwich, that would be fantastic. But I think he's wanting to shut down the archers. Men at arms here. I'd say if I was Galad, I'd probably come running out with them. I'd engage here right now. I wouldn't want to be doing a full sally, but I'd say, you know, just come out, engage this. You can really sort of start wiping out some units. Just be an anchor for these cavalry outside. What's this over here? Routing unit. This poor guy is just sort of running back and forth for now. What are we at right now? 27 for 30. So as good as this has sort of appeared, and I think it has been good overall, Mirkwood's lost a lot of forces. And as I say, I think it was, I really think he should have just focused on shutting down those Merquendi pikes. You know, I think that was a bad move, sort of shooting over into the main blob of Ironfoot forces. Because now the boys are a bit more organised. He's going to get off a good few more charges, I think. You know, as we just saw there. But I think he is gonna get dealt with soon. Those huntsmen are down to 16 now. They're winded. Seeing tired elves is very rare, but I think we are getting round to that point now, and they're not really going to be outpacing these guys. Good stuff. Yeah, this is what I was wanting to see. Just a little charge forward, just to engage this line, so you can sort of break it. Merquendi marksman, Elvellan marksman, almost done there. Yep, broken now. As I say, I'd love to engage the Vine Guard there. The Hyrioth would tear apart the Vine Guard. And this is going very well for the defenders right now, but you know, they're just not really climbing back on the percentages. Skinjet's kind of alone right now as he's pressuring the front, just trying to take away their micro, so that they have to focus on him. They can't just, you know, have their full focus over there. But As I say, he's just not coming forward. He's not trying to push through. He's just trying to engage the front line. Now, I love the Rhudaur swordsmen. They're fantastic, but coming into this front of a pike line like this is going to be tricky. But he doesn't really want to come forward with too much or with anything too fancy, because these Eldar Council will tear it apart. Right now it would be, you know, a bit of a waste of ammunition to just hurl some javelins over there. Hiri Lang still just tearing through the Elven infantry. Arthedain men at arms just mopping up over there. How are we starting? We're at 9 and 14. These Ironfoot spears have made these poor deer riders pay for the casualties that they have delivered. But as I say, another quick charge coming in here to these Avellan infantry. Sort of charging through each other, the two units. It's good to give an order to retreat as soon as you can. But I don't know. I think that was maybe slightly too early that order to fall back was given. I don't think they used the full charge there, and they were definitely sort of sliced apart. So they're very badly damaged. So 10 left there and 9 left there now. See, I know he's wanting to just pick away at them, but I just wouldn't take these charges for the spears. I just don't think they're worth it. I know that those guys are so badly shaken, and one good charge might be able to break them, but it's just I don't think I'd do it. Okay, the pikemen are coming forward now, but the pikemen are definitely what I would hurl some javelins at. Maybe. Oh, I probably wouldn't hurl the javelins if the Dunedain Rangers were happy enough to fire. That shield that the Rhudaur pikes have is going to help them out a little bit, but not enough. So Skinjet is going to take some real damage here. The pikes stabbing away the Rhudaur clansmen front line. As I say, they may not be fantastic pikemen, those Arthedain pikes without that armor upgrade, but they're good enough for facing off at what they're up against right now. Wardens of Amon Lank there, nice AP with their big old axes. So just cracking down onto the Vine Guard will be quite effective. And if they can get a good surround here and just break this unit, as I say, they've just managed to just divide this force and just take bites out of it. But with nothing left over here, Vivarax and Duca are able to gather their forces and come on in. I feel a sneeze coming on, so really sorry if that comes through. I'm trying to fight it. Okay, sorry about that, team. Yep, we're good. Couldn't fight it for long enough, I'm afraid. Ironfoot axe throwers coming on up. Crossbows, as I say, this it's just the ammunition they've got left of those crossbows that I think are fantastic. Arthedain marksmen holding their fire, and I think they're actually taking a bit of fire now from the crossbows. They've got a decent amount of armor though, to be honest. So it's certainly not a waste. Oh wait, actually, I might be wrong. Are they going? What are they going into? I need to sort of have a look, because they would be dropping right now if they were going for the Arthedain marksmen, and it didn't look like they were. Okay. No, they are. 95. Why are these men not falling? 92. It's not as effective as I kind of thought it would be. The clash is continuing here. We're delivering some casualties, but it's a nice mixture here. The Forest Aaron defenders are fantastic at just holding the line. They don't really dish out much damage for their cost, but that heavy armor, the sort of defensive ability of having a spear is really going to help them out, and they're kind of just being meeked so that the Arthedain pikemen can hold a bit longer and stab away at their mountain brothers. It's terribly upsetting whenever the men of Arnor are fighting against each other. So, as much as I really liked this countercharge, maybe. Duke is actually sending troops away from this position. Alright. So as much as I really liked this countercharge at the start, I think it has maybe run its course. At least that's what I was about to say. But I think it's actually doing quite well still. Merquendi pikes are just about done. Over here, the Hiri Lang is holding their own very nicely. Ironfoot warriors, coming in for a flank to the Hirioth. That'll be pretty dandy. And over here as well. Yeah, this is going well. And with some more reinforcements, they're going to tidy this whole thing up. So I'm kind of going back on what I originally said of they should really try to pressure all 4 entrances. Had they tried to pressure for all 4 entrances, they wouldn't have been able to have as many troops at this point. So this little surprise ambush that the Elves of Mirkwood launched against them would have been devastating. It would have entirely wiped it out for very little gained. Good stuff coming in for a back charge here. I think those poor Forest Errand Knights must be dead, actually. I must have missed them getting stuck in, because they would have definitely been used by now. Eldar Council still saving their ammo. No, I think it's good. They're kind of winning on the front line quite nice and comfortably. Now the issue is here, you can't pressure Cardolan Outpost by just from one choke point. We're at 43 for 42 though, to be honest. I keep staying so deep into the defender's camp, but they're really just outnumbered right now. I guess having the elves on your side, you know, you're gonna be pretty badly outnumbered, and especially when the dwarves of Erebor have gone so numbers heavy. You know, even though they may have gone numbers heavy, that Ironfoot quality is going to be helping them out. Helvellyn units are tearing their way through this, but really struggling. Okay, good. So that's Dorwinian's general taking out, but to be honest, Dorwinian has definitely taken the brunt of this ambush. So I think he's not really got too much on the field anyway. We'll see how that turns out for him. How much does he have over here? No, nothing really. Ah, some Helvellyn marksmen. I'm gonna try and actually use the E and the Q keys just to rotate the camera a little bit. I always think I never like the way it looks when I sort of snap to the sides like that. So I'm gonna try and really work on my camera work a bit, and sort of just make it a bit of a nicer viewing experience. Moving up through here again, as I say, this is really where a push is going to be happening, but no, it's just holding very nicely. And this is, I think, if that's 128 Rhudaur clansmen, if they could form into a shield wall and they really went for it, I think they'd bust a hole in this. Now, there's a lot of troops that would come in immediately to replace these men and hold the line again or reform a line, but I think the casualties that would be inflicted on the enemy with a push would be worth it either way. You wouldn't really be pushing for the sake of really gaining the ground. You'd be pushing for trying to just inflict casualties. So where are the Glade Masters? I didn't really see them getting used. Right, yeah, still the elves standing quite well up to this attack. Oh gosh, this individual has caught flight. Oh, you can't really see him from every angle. Let's try and find him again. No, he's gone. He's gone. So yeah, there's nothing more hiding up here. These men are, yes, still just routing. Over here, some Ironfoot warriors and some more Ironfoot warriors moving in to assist. But yeah, the attackers have actually taken a lot of casualties very quickly. Rhudaur marksmen there, a lot of, I think they've still got their full ammo. Ferodrum javelins still with their full ammunition. No troll hunters today, interesting. There's still a full unit of Rhudaur clansmen, as I say, I think that needs to be saved for pushing. Another full unit of the Arthedain pikes standing by, and the enslavers. Legionnaires, they've not been put into the fight yet, and neither have the Dragon Slayers. Dragon Slayers do actually have a shield wall ability, I believe, so they could shunt their way through quite nicely. Axe throwers as well. What I worry about is so much of the attacker's power is actually in skirmishing and range units. That's a break. That's quite a big break. That's a lot of Rhudaur clansmen and Arthedain pikes falling back from the front line there. So I do hope that all that comes back, if nothing else, just to tire out the front line a little more. And as I say, because there wasn't really any support, that is done, and the defenders can just totally reorganize, which is never really something that you want to let them do. Saying that though, I think the attackers really need to sort of go back to the drawing board, take a few deep breaths, and and work out what to do next and try and use this ammunition. The defenders really have used a fair bit against them. The Arthedain marksmen are both out of ammunition. We've actually got the defenders there coming out for a sally against these crossbows, which is smart. Vivarax has come a little bit too far forward. You know, you really could have gotten the same effect by just lining up right here. Those Arthedain pikes have turned around. And for crossbows though, not bad in melee though. I would still expect the Forest Iron defenders to beat them though, especially outnumbering them this much. That doesn't seem to be the case right now though. Maybe it is just that that heavy, sturdy armor is able to deflect most of those spear blows coming at them. So let's just see the mopping up as it continues. Saying that, these marksmen have been very well used. And they managed to get around and get some shots into the back of these Arthedain men-at-arms. Wardens are almost defeated. But with the Elders of, the Elven King Palace Guard coming forward now. Oh, they're running. Yeah, no, I think that's smart. You don't want to take that fight. Axe Guard of Erebor over here. Their AP is not going to be so useful against the Hyrioth, who rely much more on their Elven skill. But they're still a good quality unit at the end of the day. Taking some fire there. The Glade Masters are even over here. Coming toe to toe with the Wardens of Amon Lank. As much as I love the Wardens of Amon Lank, they're not built for this fight. This is not going to go well for them. Elven King's Palace Guard. They'd be able to they would definitely be able to deal with the Glade Masters. Very sort of similar weapons actually, that's kind of cool. Axe Guard holding their ground. These sort of good quality dwarves will stand and fight for a while, but again, they're not capable of dealing with the Elven King Palace Guard, not with that AP that they've got. Arthedain men-at-arms all the way back here, probably just pursuing some routing forces. They could do with being turned around and just sort of coming in to break that unit there, or continue to chase around these marksmen. Duke has not got a lot of forces left, so he is able to micromanage these guys quite nicely. And make the most out of them. Defenders, I'm really surprised. I never take the defenders. I don't really like them too much myself. But still, I expected them to be able to win that fight. And now with the pikemen arriving again and some Rhudaur clansmen coming to assist, this will be over for them. Yep, some more guys coming forward. Oh, that's kind of nice. Let's just maybe position ourselves there. Ooh. Great. Yeah, I see. I'm sure he's happy enough. If anybody wants to shoot at these guys, he'll let them. Iron Foot Spears coming around. But see, the attackers are just not really willing to come over to one of these sides. And I think, to be honest, the reason for that is because they rely so much on their ranged units. They want the defenders to be bundled up. They don't want them to be spreading out into the 4 different choke points. Where they can only really punish a few of them at a time. They really want them compact together so that they can unload their crossbow volleys. These Forest Iron defenders standing in front of the Arthedain pikes will shield them a fair bit. But as I said before, AP is going to be nasty either way. That sounded like a catapult shot. It was definitely from the attackers. It looks like it was actually trying to come in and strike the Arthedain catapult, but it has just collided with this side of the building here. The Elders of the Elven King, we've not really seen them use up their ammo. So they won't be fun to deal with. What are we at right now? 58 for 66. Let's say every time I feel really happy about the defenders, they just always seem to be below on the percentage. Percentage is not everything though, to be honest. And as I say, I think these men from Duca have done a fantastic job. The Huri Peng are out here, to be honest. I'd probably unload on them. I'd be happy enough with that. Just get them sorted out. Over here, some Arthedain men-at-arms battling away with the Ironfoot warriors, alongside some of these Forest Iron defenders. Axe Guard. The Axe Guard will be great up against Forest Iron defenders, though. Where are those elite units? Where are the Palace Guard? Palace Guard are really quite needed right now, and the Glade Masters. I'd love to see the Glade Masters and the Palace Guard sort of going one-on-one. But no. Glade Masters falling back over here, chasing some men-at-arms. But 9 Glade Masters left, not too many. I think the Palace Guard must have fallen back inside. And with everything actually moving out to strike at that force, there's really nothing defending that area. But again, there's nothing prepared to attack it. So as soon as they moved an attacking force in, they would be fended off. The Hiri Peng are coming forward now. And I disagree with that. Big time. The Hiri Peng are better in melee than most of your humans friends. So, but I guess they're just wanting to come forward and cut through these men, as they are now actually. And that's going quite well for them. But again, this will be another unit just sent in to die. Getting some kills for it, but it'll be gone from the front line. Oh gosh, I really hope they don't end up firing like this. Just up and over because they're minced in together. They've managed to turn that into a balanced confrontation. Hiri Peng able to succeed where the Forest Iron defenders failed. Oh, okay, we're getting some catapult fire. Now that catapult from the defenders will be able to fire for most of the game. Just being itself remaining, it's never really going to be able to dish out a tremendous amount of damage very, very quickly. But its shots should be coming in pretty nicely and for a very long time, as I say. Oh gosh. Oh! Oh, that was a lot of friendly fire. Yeah, that was mainly friendly fire. That's unfortunate. Happens though. And I don't think that was his target. I think that was just a very... I was just talking about the accuracy of that. Okay, no, good. I saw that guy sort of firing a little bit too high up, but these men have sort of lined up perfectly there. And they've really sort of... They're not really getting in each other's way, which is nice. Rhudaur clansmen coming up now. It seems that the defenders are kind of pushing up to engage in this tighter spot, which is going to leave them without this sort of perfect death pit. But it looks like they're kind of moving up to engage them in a new death pit, I suppose. What we go over on this end, the Axe Guard of Erebor are actually kind of free and clear over here. Glade Masters even coming around. The Hiri Peng have sort of charged on out. It's very unusual sort of I think the Hiri Peng are chasing off these Elven marksmen. But Duca is more than happy to sort of have a unit of Hiri Peng following him. Even if he can kill them, great. If not, hey, I've just pulled a unit of Hiri Peng out of the fort, you know, with one unit of Elven marksmen. So those Axe Guard are nice and healthy, but there's not a lot left here. But as I say, even though there's not a lot left, there really isn't anything sort of standing by in their way. This just being a cityscape, of course, doesn't have a town centre, so the attackers can't really just walk on in. The Wardens of the North will be pretty dandy in melee up against them, and the Elders of the Elven King as well. Arthedain Troll Slayers, nice in melee too. I wasn't able to use them in melee recently, but because they do get shot to pieces whenever you don't take care of them. Right, so as we saw, the rotting meat just got thrown on in there. A lot of the evil factions can use rotting meat on their catapults because they don't have trebuchets. So it's now the issue with that though is that it affects your own men as well as the enemies. And when you're attacking, I always feel that you rely more on your morale than the defenders do on their morale. So I never fire rotting meat. Not unless I can absolutely 100% guarantee a hit. And we're seeing the catapult crew, the only orcs on the field today, have just charged forward. So he's probably given one volley and said, no, stuff that. Or he might be out of ammunition for it. He might have actually been throwing rotting meat for some time. But as I say, the big issue here, this is going to be damaging the morale of all of these men, even the catapult crew. So that's going to hurt. Even with the morale buff that the Arthedain pikes provide, it's going to be messy. I like those little war picks that the catapult crew use. They're not AP, unfortunately, but they're still the cute little war picks. As I say, something that I'm a big fan of from Silmarillion Total War is that they've made a lot of the factions catapult crews and, well, artillery crews are actually legitimate soldiers. You know, so that's it's very interesting to me, I think. And I think it is definitely going to change up the dynamic of what it means to take an artillery piece. Not sure, well, I'd say, don't know if I fully agree with it or not, but I'm very, very interested to see how it does change fights. Dunedain Rangers coming forward now. As much as I like Dunedain Rangers in melee, or Rangers in melee full stop, it's still a bit scary to see that. And now the defenders are actually moving forward into this, you know, miasma. I always call it a miasma, but yeah, just the rotting cloud, and that's going to affect them a bit. Now, with the defenders really clogged in on that position, that's what am I doing? I'm getting confused. Sorry, I meant to look over here. With the defenders really getting clogged in, and a lot of their good units being locked up in that fight, that has allowed the attackers to kind of sort themselves out a bit over here. They're kind of dithering a bit, but again, they just don't want to make any mistakes, and I always understand that. But still, I think that maybe a bit of pressure would be worthwhile. We are getting a bit of it, but the Ironfoot Warriors are going to be... Oh, see, okay, good. I thought he was going to try and shoot them. It'd just be a waste of ammunition. That's exactly what I would want. I was going to mention this, but I would have wanted to move up a unit of Ironfoot Warriors, just Ironfoot Warriors, and just basically hope that he actually used his Wardens of the North or something like that on me. Cool. So Glad actually was using his Dunedain Trollslayers in melee there before he had used up all of the javelins. That's something I very much... I like to see when people do that too. Oh my goodness me, this brave boy. With all of those Ironfoots running away behind him, being the one man left in his unit, he is standing right next to that banner. That is nice to see, actually. Well done, him. Maybe he deserves a volley. Yeah, maybe I'd give him a quick volley from my elders. I would fear a dwarf that is willing to stand in that circumstance.
If we continue like this, we will.
Announcer is very pleased with the attackers' chances here, and with the way that front line is going right now, the Ironfoot Spears have come forward. The catapult crew helping out. Rhudaur Swordsmen, like a full fresh unit of Rhudaur Swordsmen coming up too now. That's the Arthedain catapult crew as well. Catapult crew versus catapult crew right now. Dismounted Forest Errand Knights coming on up. Their biggest threat is, of course, the fact that they don't have a shield. So they're going to be, pretty happy in that circumstance. Cool, we do have a movement. This is what I was looking for. Actually, shoot. Sorry, again, getting confused between red and blue. It's quite late at night right now. I had a session of some D&D, so I wasn't really able to get recording done today. But I really wanted to get a video recorded, just so I can edit up and get it processed overnight. Dismounted Forest Errand Knights have now fully arrived in combat. Rhudaur Marksmen out of ammunition. They'll slice through units like the Rhudaur Marksmen, but the Erebor Legionnaires standing by, that's where the worry is. What we got on the bridge still? Or up here. Interesting place for Skinjet to leave all of his forces. But as I say, I would really prefer to just have them as close to the battlefield as you can safely put them. Just so that if you feel, great, this is a perfect opportunity for the Black Wolves, they're there. They're already on the field. You don't sort of have to walk them on in for too long. Dismounted Forest Errand Knights having a balanced fight at the time. I'd like to see that change, but right now it's still defeat is certain. As I say, human Swordmasters, I never really, with the exception of the Swordmasters of Esgaroth, I really am just never impressed with human Swordmasters. I tend to refrain from them a lot nowadays, as I say, except for when I'm playing as Dale. These Ironfoot Axe Throwers, I don't think they've used up their ammunition. Maybe I'm wrong in that, but I'm not actually too sure how to tell. So they've still got an axe on their back. Maybe that's a way that you can sort of tell. That's a damn beautiful looking axe he's got on his back. I would be more than happy to have that embedded in my skull. But yeah. So no, hopefully he still has something there, because if he does, then the defenders are really going to have to unload firepower on him. And they've got the Wardens of the North with their AP arrows Dunedain Troll Slayers, of course, AP Javelins. Very brutal weaponry. Elders of the Elven King, very nice ammunition from them too. But, Elven Marksmen, how did they get up on the wall? How did you... Oh, of course, this route up. Yeah, okay. He's just been so sneaky with these Elven Marksmen. Okay, they've been getting shot to pieces now, and as I say, he seems to just be trying to run around a bit now, just trying to use up ammo, which I think is a good sacrifice for your team. I think Duka maybe made some missteps when he did get ambushed like that, but ever since the early stages of the ambush, I think he has been making up for it quite well. And Warden of the North fire coming on in, I guess they just have to. They've got no, like, lower to mid-tier archers, and they can't run up here to fight them. Okay, they've broken now, so... Yeah, so as I say, it's really shooting them with these great units is really the only thing they can do, as much as it would pain them. Because they want to be using those AP arrows for the nicer units. Glad is actually trying to get his dismounted Forest Air Knights out, by the looks of it. No, he stopped trying that now. He did think about it for a minute, but I don't think it's a good idea. I just don't think that they would be able to escape. But he needs to get something set up to watch their backs now. These Axguard of Erebor actually ran all the way around. I've gotten stuck into these Eldar Council. The Eldar Council here have actually not used up their javelins yet. So if they just get cut to pieces right now, which I don't think they will, I think these Dismounted Forest Air Knights are going to come around behind them and deal with them. But Dismounted Knights of Numinous are coming forward now, because if that fight happens when this breaks and the javelins are not able to be used, that will be horrific. So it's right that the Dismounted Knights of Numinous have been sent forward. What we got over here now, the Avellan Marksmen are back. They might be running, but they're going to be absorbing some more fire. Even when they are running, they're still being a benefit to the team. Wardens of the North, they're sort of firing straight up, a little bit too close to the Troll Slayers, and they're also interrupting them so that they can't throw their javelins right now. Even these Ironfoot warriors that are running are interrupting them. So, oh, wow, no, they were quick. They're being responded to by the axes, and the axes are going to be a great way to just deal with these Troll Slayers. They'll get cut to pieces, though, but, the Dragon Slayers of Ered Mithrin running up now, taking Elders of the Elven King fire. And Javelin fire, they will not be lasting too long to that punishment. But this is a very scary push. Dunedain Troll Slayers out of ammunition now. To be honest, I'd probably back the Dunedain Troll Slayers over the Dragon Slayers in melee. Don't know if I'm right in saying that though. I guess with the punishment that everybody's been through, it'd be very tough to say. Dismounted Forest Air Knights are actually having defeat is certain, as are the Dismounted Knights of Numinous. It was victory for a moment, but I just think it's the very sturdy armour from the Dwarves that's helping them out. But I'm very surprised to see that from the Rhudaur Swordsman. This is such a beefy blob. As I say, if we had any Rangers now, this would be very messy. Elder Council having to fall back. That's actually good. Yeah, fall back, get the javelins on their back. Is that only one unit? Hopefully they've not lost an entire unit.
Our allies have fled the field like cowards.
Okay, that is the last of the Dorwinian men, and I certainly wouldn't say they fled the field like cowards, announcer. But hey, they did fight very well. But no, so we'll get a good few more javelins there into the back of these Axguard, and that will have them wiped out. Which means that they can start throwing their javelins into the main force, or into whatever they really want. The issue is there's only 17 of them left, so the DPS is going to be not enough, I'd say, to slow this tide. Dismounted Knights of Numinous are actually having victory now. They've sorted themselves out. But they've got so much of a horde. They've got the Black Wolves to deal with their AP and their 2 hit points. The Legionnaires have not even touched melee yet. They won't be fun to deal with. It's all generally going to go down, well, it's going to be down to how this fight goes. The Dragon Slayers have been cutting through this force now. I think I was very wrong to say that I valued the Troll Slayers in melee over this. I thought they would handle themselves a bit better. Wardens of the North really struggling. It's just that lack of AP that's going to be putting them at odds, and especially they've also got axes coming flying into their face. I think that's probably a big part of it too. Elders of the Elven King out of ammunition. Oh no, they're not out of ammunition now. I think they're just trying to move up so they can get a shot on something. what we got on the front line now. These dismounted knights dismounted forest errand knights are now free and clear, and these men are holding their spears. That's not what I wanted to see. Hopefully they've still got their javelins, because they really need them. Just clashing into this position. The high skill of these dismounted knights of Numinous, and also the AP is going to be helping them out, but I just think, as for what they have been fighting already, and then now fighting up against the Erebor Legionnaires, I think it's going to be too much for them. Getting some reinforcements in there, but the Frodrum Javelins are slamming into them first. And, oh dear, now with another unit of Erebor Legionnaires coming all the way around, I think that's it, curtains. Eldar Council there, with their javelins. They had javelins, but I think they're just coming forward just to slow them down at this point. We're getting arrows coming in. Oh, okay, cool. If they can get their backs to them... There's even archer fire coming in from over here. Yeah, interesting. Erebor Legionnaires have pushed through the main line now, though. What's this? One Troll Slayer standing guard, trying to defend his elven allies. General here taking out the banner carrier of the Dragon Slayers.
Good tidings.
Oh.
The enemy general lies dead.
Dearie me. Taken out by an axe. One of those glorious looking axes, I have to say. Hiri Peng coming back from chasing some people down. Still just eager and warmed up for the fight, as elves are generally going to be. You've got to really run them around before they start getting tired. Rear charging into the axe throwers. So that's definitely what was needed. This has been a very chaotic engagement, actually. It's sort of just what happens when you've got so many troops left on the Cardolan Outpost, and you've not sort of defended the bridges for too much. Elders of the Elven King going toe-to-toe with the Erebor Legionnaires. As I say, usually I really do value the Erebor Legionnaires quite a bit. I think they are usually quite fantastic. But up against a unit like the Elders of the Elven King, you got to be quite something. 2 units of Erebor Legionnaires, though, coming into the backs, that might be just enough. Wardens of the North finished off, well, almost finished with the Dragon Slayers, are actually coming in to assist their Elven brothers again. It's been some good team play from these two, actually. As the swarm of Rhudaur approaches, the mountain men ready to take vengeance for, of course, the tremendous evils committed against them by Arthedain. Yeah, catapult falling way back at the start there. What are we at right now, generally? Rhudaur marksmen coming on up. Frodrum javelins, great in melee. They've still got their javelins, but it's just a case of a final battle of the general units here. So we'll just position ourselves. This was a pretty cool little scrap. I do love it when people do use things like ambush tactics. I think that had the attackers done what is normally a much better plan and struck from the multiple entrances, I think that this could have actually... I think that ambush would have gone a lot better. I think it was just down to the fact that the attackers attacked only from the 2 main choke points, or the 2 north and east choke points. I think that really allowed them to have this more cohesive force that made the ambush a little less powerful. So yeah, that's quite interesting. One of the few times that I've actually seen not pushing all of the entrances at once to be a benefit for you. As I say, I think there was maybe a few calls for the where he was shooting his arrows that I was maybe disagreeing with, but all in all, there were no major misplays there. I think the Arthedain pikes definitely could have been better protected, but still, I'm quite surprised at this, because as I say, all the way through, I was quite chuffed with how the defenders were playing. You know, but and they were just still down. I'd love to know what the money was for this game, just to make sure it was sort of pretty sort of normal. But I guess maybe somebody went too deep. I think I think, did Arthedain go too deep into the red limit with his men at arms? Surely not. You can get about 6 of them, I thought, before you go into the red limit. I think maybe it was just sort of army composition for a few of them that made this really quite tricky. Because I think that the play was going okay. As I say, everybody was kind of making a few little mistakes here and there. Let's have a quick look at what Skinjet got up to. The Witch-Roman Slavers were just fresh and clear, you know, they were still dandy. The catapult there was mainly used as a counter battery, you know, artillery piece, so that's never really going to rack up too many kills when you do that. Rhudaur marksmen there, you know, doing just about what you need them for. Dunman Hunters, fantastic that they got to use some ranger fire against them. That's always what you want. Fraudrum Javelins there, hadn't actually used up many of their Javelins, and then of course they're great in melee. It was the Pikes. One of those Pikes came in, got rangered to heck. The other one was quite nice and fresh. Of course, the first Hereditary Pikes, great for just the morale buff as well. Black Wolves, pretty damn good. You know, as I say, only sent in toward the end. I think the Swordmasters would have actually been quite a good counter to the Black Wolves, but they didn't really manage to get face to face. So the 4 Rhudaur swordsmen, yeah, you know, they're pretty dandy. I think that had Arthedain gone harder into his armor upgrades, definitely could have gotten pretty messy. And that's when you need to start maybe mixing and matching with the Rhudaur Axemen and the Rhudaur Swordsmen, just so that you have a little bit of AP you can call upon. And then the 4 Rhudaur Clansmen, can you get 4 Rhudaur Clansmen, or do you go into the red limit? I'm not certain. I never get 4 Rhudaur, I always get 2. You know, that's more than enough for me, but yeah, it's cool to see them all with the armor upgrade, so that they can just be a bit more beefy. But I think it's just definitely shield wall ability and pushing through is fantastic, if we can get that done sometimes. Then Vivarax there took a real beating from the ambush, but it was good that he was able to sort of mix and match, and he really sort of saw where his units would be most useful. And even I, like with being able to see it all, I was getting surprised by a few of the backstabs he got done with his Axe Guard. So that was pretty impressive. As Duca as well, great that Duca did not sort of throw in the towel. That was sometimes when stuff starts to go pretty badly, you can see players really sort of give up. And even if they don't leave the game, then they do very much kind of just turn off and just stop playing well. Just stop trying. But Duca was really pushing, even when he was just down to that last unit of Favela Marksmen, he pushed that unit of Favela Marksmen to their limit. He did the absolute best that he could do with them. Then yeah, your Pappy loved the ambush. That was a really cool idea. As I say, disagreed with some of the shooting that he was doing. I really think I would have tried to just delete those pikemen and tried to keep my archers safe, because those archers definitely didn't use up all of their ammo, and that's quite a shame. The Axemen though, I expect the Axemen to do better. That was just unfortunate. Yeah, don't know why that was the case. You know, Elvillain, men at arms sort of beating them was quite a surprise to me. But yeah, then Glad, yeah, as I say, it was just defending his pikes, and definitely think about armor upgrades. You know, I mean, if you're gonna go fully like armor upgraded infantry force, you know, consider Gondor. But yeah, and as I say, I don't know what happened to the horsemen. I would have maybe, because I was talking about like, oh, you know, you could use them here, you could use them here, and I think he did go and use them, and then they just took a bunch of arrow fire or something like that. But had those horsemen been saved for when the trap was sprung, you know, having just another unit of cavalry just to mess with the attackers there could have been really, really bad. So hopefully the boys were in communication, you know, because if he knew that was going to happen, I would have maybe tried to hold off so that my cav could join in. But hey, that's all there is to it, really. As I say, that was really good. I love Cardolan Outpost. Ever so slightly more like not as close as I usually like to get, but I'm one of the things that I'm really sort of happy about with it is just that, you know, Skinjet sent in a replay that he was, you know, he didn't get the most kills in his team, so I'm pretty like I'll let that fly. But as I say, usually I like to be a tiny bit closer. It's not 63. That takes into account a lot of other things. It was closer to about 80. To be honest, 80 is not bad. Yeah, I can roll with that. Yeah, but no, thank you very much, guys.